Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to this series of CMAT Last Lab preparation. So today we are going to have another session of innovation and entrepreneurship. Like last week we had one, and that day we talked about innovation, right? So today we will talk about entrepreneurship. Basically, I'll tell about what are startups, right? Some of the terminologies related to startups. So you hear a lot of terms in the startup. What is incubator? Like what is Series A funding? So we'll talk about how startups are financed, how do they grow. So in today's class, we are going to talk about those things, right? So how does things happen in startup? What are some of the common terms that are associated with them? Okay, and those things we'll discuss today. How do startups get money, right? How do investors earn money out of those startups and all? Right, so this series started on 14th and will go on till the first week of April. Right, so you can watch this series every day at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel as well as our app. Both you can watch these sessions live, and every day we have sessions on different topics. Right, we've had sessions on current affairs. Yesterday we had on current affairs. Today we are going to have on innovation and entrepreneurship. Then we have on your quant reasoning, verbal, right? All sessions are being covered in this series. So please do watch this series and subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of these. Right. So today we are going to talk about startup glossary. Okay, glossary means the terminologies related to startups. Right? You hear a lot of terms. Right? So you must know what these terms are. Maybe you might be asked questions related to that. And last year also there were a few questions related to these terms. Right? You should know the definition of different things. Right? And they might ask questions based on them. So first of all, today let us start that how does a startup grow, right? So how does who help in growing a startup? And Startup, is a business which is started by someone, and they look for growth, right? The purpose is to like today the environment has changed. Earlier it was like people used to have conventional businesses. It took years to grow. Nowadays people want very rapid growth. Okay, so in startups we have different things. So what is an accelerator? And can someone explain what is an accelerator or make some educated guess what an accelerator is? I guess you can. What is an accelerator? No one? Okay, so basically, like you hear the word accelerate, right? So someone who accelerates will be called an accelerator by layman definition. But yeah, that is something that it's a hub, it's a place where startups are given place to work, right, and work on on their ideas, and sometimes they are also given uh, some uh, some money also, right, to grow. So basically, accelerators are a place wherein there are some organizations that help grow a startup, right? They will give you them strategies that how to basically these are the mentors, right? So they will help with uh, uh, like contacts, right? They will help with some financial help also, mostly strategic help, at times some financial help also, right? So how to develop your business idea, how to connect with different sorts of people. Okay, so accelerators are those institutions that help startups grow. So then there is another thing called incubator. Okay, they sound similar to that, right? Accelerator and incubator. So incubator is a firm that helps to grow. Again, it's a startup, and like in helping in grow a startup with early stage startup. Okay, अब इन दोनों में difference क्या होता है? एक्सेलरेटर इज बेसिकली इंक्यूबेटर जो बिल्कुल ही स्टार्ट वाले स्टार्टअप हो रही है, राइट, वेयर देयर इज एट दे आर एट आइडिया स्टेज, ठीक है, वो अभी लॉन्च ही नहीं हुए, वो भी अभी एक आइडिया ही है उनके मन में कि हमें कुछ करना है, राइट। तो इट इज इंक्यूबेटर, इट दैट इट्स अ वेरी वेरी बिगनिंग स्टेज, मतलब जैसे एक एग्जांपल सोच लो कि ये 3-4 महीने का बच्चा है, ये 1 साल का बच्चा है, ये थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस आ जाता है ना, वो बिल्कुल ही स्टार्ट ही कर रहा है, ये थोड़ा सा समय हो चुका है, राइट। So accelerator basically is for some startup which have done some work, and incubator is very very starting stage where it's just the idea is in place. Okay, so these are the differences between accelerators and incubators, right? So accelerators are generally funded by existing companies. There are some companies that have funds for these acceleration programs, right? And incubators are independent firms, right? They are not part of any company. Incubator firms can be they can be institutes also, right? So these can be some institutes also, these can be by some company, some small companies, it could be NGOs, this could be some institutes also, like educational institutes, right? You must have seen ki like some people they say that there was an incubator at some colleges, like top college like IIMs, right? You must have heard ki IIM Bangalore had this incubation center, right? So these educational institutes also have incubation centers. Okay, so they promote people with ideas for businesses, right? Now, Accelerator, the aim is to scale up companies. Scale up means to grow the companies in their operations, revenues, products, etc. And the incubator, the primary is for innovation. Incubator, as I said, it is at the idea stage, right? So if someone has some business idea, so they work on that. Accelerator is slightly later stage when business idea is already there. The company wants to grow. Okay, so that is accelerator. Okay, then accelerator is for few months, incubator can be of longer duration also, so they work till the company comes to a stage where it starts earning something, right? So that is the case. And accelerators often take equity, right? And incubators are usually non-profit firms. As I said, that educational institutes and all, right, they do not want to, and then their motive is not to earn money, they just want to promote this innovations, right? So basically these are some sort of people, like institutes that want to promote, they want more people to do research on businesses and work on businesses, right? So that is the thing, and that is called an incubator, right? And then accelerator, they have structured program, they have well defined program that these are the things that they are going to do, and that is how the company is going to grow. Okay, and incubators, they have more flexibilities, they provide more flexibilities, they welcome more ideas. So the only difference, I mean the broad difference you can say is incubator is basically for promoting ideas. Okay, so that more people come up with business ideas and they are given some assistance. Okay, and these are mainly for scaling up businesses, right? As a very small stage. And if the business is very small stage, it has already started doing some work, so they want to scale it up, and these are for promoting ideas of new businesses, right? So that people come up with ideas and then they develop product. Okay. Now we'll talk about financing of companies. How do companies get money? राइट, वेयर डज मनी कम फ्रॉम, स्टार्टअप खोल लिया, ठीक है, कहाँ से पैसा आएगा? तो देयर आर टू वेज, वन इज इक्विटी, अनदर इज डेट. ओके, so what is equity? Equity is basically you give share of the company to someone, so it's a kind of share of company. So let us say you take, so we will discuss that what are the different forms of equity, how does a company get equity, different sources, right? So if let us say uh, I start a company. So one way is I start use my own money. Another way is I approach some investors and take their money and start a business. Right. So in return of that money, you give them equity. How many of you watched Shark Tank India? If you watch Shark Tank India, you must have understood what equity is. right? So if you saw this, that so basically what they used to do, they used to take equity in return of that, right? मतलब वो कहते थे कि you invest, let us say, and calculation wise also it is simple. Let us say if someone is asking for 50 lakh and says that that person will give you 5% equity, right? So 5%, that means that the company is valued at 10 crore, right? So 10 crore means 50 lakh is your, so 5% equity. Now if the company grows, right, let us say the company in 1 year becomes 50 crores, right? Let's just imagine that it becomes 5 times. So your 50 lakh will become 2.5 crores because you had 5% equity in the company, right? So equity is sort of company share, right? So you give share of the company and you say that whatever the company values, so you will have that value in the company. Okay, so that is a sort of you give share of the company, right? But that is something that you need to imagine that if that grows, so that person will earn a major income. So in the beginning, like the people who invest in the beginning get higher equity, later on people will get lower equity and so on, right? Another way is debt. Debt means loan. You take loan from a bank and then start, right? Now loan में risk क्या होता है, right? Loan में the thing is like you will have to repay the loan, right? Loan का interest भरना पड़ेगा and all. Equity you do not have to pay anything, right? If your company goes down, so equity is a very risky thing for the investor, right? But they think a lot before investing, right? They don't simply invest. आपने आर्किटेक्ट इंडिया देखा होगा, they used to tell ना कि तुम्हारे बिजनेस में कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी है, right? So you must have seen Ashneep Dover saying that भाई ये क्या कर रहा है तू, right? If they feel that okay there is no scope in this business, they tell that okay they are not going to invest. But if they like the business, they think that that is going to grow, then only they invest money in that, right? So debt is basically loan and it is risky for, I mean, in any case, there is a risk for entrepreneur, right? So in this case, it is more risky for entrepreneur because that person has to repay it, right? इसमें उसको repay नहीं करना पड़ता. But the thing is, right? Investors will keep like they have control also in the company, right? They will instruct that people that how to do business and all, right? So that is debt and equity. Now, if you talk about like if a person, suppose there is a wealthy person, right? He does not want to like पहले से क्या होता था? पहले से तो ऐसा system था नहीं, right? Debt was there, equity system तो like it started later. Debt was always an option, but another option is bootstrapping, right? So if you have right, so if you have, let us say you start like a business on your own, that is called bootstrapping, right? You invest your own money, right? The advantage in this case is I mean you have the major share. अगर starting में दूसरों से equity ले लोगे तुम्हारा share पहले ही कम हो जाएगा, but you start with your own capital, you have your complete control of the business, right? So initially most of the times it is bootstrapped business and later on they go for funding. Okay, now, what are the early forms of investment in a company? Right, one is crowdfunding. Right, so there are many times what people do is they resort to crowdfunding. Let us say I have good connect. Right, I have hundreds of people in my network, and I say that okay, I'm going to start a company. Right, and like I want to borrow small funds from. So basically, in this case, we take small funds from many people. There are some sites also where people raise this. Okay, so I may have 100 people funding my company with small amounts. Okay, so that is called crowdfunding. Okay, now sometimes crowdfunding can also be in the form of donation, right? There is some trust, you collect money from those trust, right? So that is another way, like this Patanjali Baba Ramdev model, right? That is form of crowdfunding, right? He did not like use his, ठीक है थोड़ा बहुत starting में use किया होगा, but you must have heard कि वो trust used to pay him. There were some business when he used to collect like through his shivers and all, he used to collect that, right? We are starting a business, right? So that is what is called crowdfunding. Okay, so when you collect small funds from many people, right? Especially these are done by NGOs and all, right? Because uh, uh, generally the proper firms, right, the profit making firms do not revert to that, क्योंकि फिर वो बहुत सारा हो जाता ना कि you have to cater to those many investors, right? So generally done by NGOs or some trust companies. They take money from several people. Okay. Then you have angel investor. Angel investor is a kind of you can call it like angel. We call them because they are at the very beginning of the company. ठीक है, आपने company start की और किसने आपको starting में पैसा दे दिया, right? So those are called angel investors, right? Why they are called angel investors? Because they just trust your idea and then they give you money, right? ऐसा नहीं कि एक तो होता है कि काफी समय बाद देता है, like Shark Tank India where you saw these were not angel investors, right? They said that, okay, what was your business in the past 2 3 years? So generally these people had businesses running for some duration. Let us say I just start a business and in the beginning someone gives me money. That is called an angel investor. Okay. Then there is venture capital also. Now angel investor and venture capital, the difference is basically these are individuals. And angel investor you know through connections. Okay, let us say I have uh, like just giving an example. Let us say I have network with some celebrity. Okay, like I have a friend who is a celebrity, and that person invests in my company, right? So that is kind of angel investor. Usually there will be some known person or some net person in network. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि कोई भी random मैं किसी के पास चल जाऊँ वो दे देगा, right? So there will be generally the people who know you, okay, or through some reference, then only they give. Venture capitalist, these are some firms that invest money of these investors. Okay, venture capitalists are these are basically firms that they take money from investors, right? They have connections with these high net worth individuals. They take their money and then they invest it, right? So crowdfunding is use of small amounts of capital from a large number of individuals, right? So that we discussed. And angel investors is high net worth individual, and of course they will take equity in this, right? In crowdfunding also there is equity, but as I said that crowdfunding is applicable in only some businesses, not everywhere, because then you will have to give many portions of equity, right? So angel investor, of course, they will take equity, and venture capitalist is a private equity investor that provides capital to companies with high growth potential. Now, the difference between angel investor and venture capitalist. So, angel investor is an independent person. Okay. Yes, they can be friends, they can be family, they can be some known persons also, right? They can be not, I mean, not necessarily that related only. They can be some non-relative also, but at a very starting stage, right? And then venture capitalists are they basically belong to a company or a firm. Okay, their investment amount is less there. And I mean, if you compare the investment amount, it will be higher in case of venture capitalist. An angel investor will offer mainly financial assistance. They will just invest money. They will not help you with anything, right? वो पैसा दे देंगे, कहेंगे तुम अपना बिजनेस चलाओ. ठीक है, जैसे लाइक वो स्टार्टअप उसमें कहते हैं ना शार्क टैंक में, धंधा तुम्हें करना है, राइट? सो दैट काइंड ऑफ एटीट्यूड, मैं पैसा दे दूंगा तुम बिजनेस चलाओ, राइट? बट ऑन द अदर हैंड यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड की लाइक वो दैट ही यूज्ड टू से ना, आई मीन ज्यादातर अमन कहता था, राइट, मैं तुम्हारी मार्केटिंग में हेल्प कर दूंगा. आई मीन ऑल्दो they would help to some extent but not that great, so they also provide strategic help. Okay, so venture capitalist, they are generally financial assistant people. They just give money and they say that you run your own business, right? So and venture capitalists are basically wherein they give you strategic help also. They will help you connect with distribution partners, right? They will tell you how to go make marketing strategies and all. These are in early stage companies, right? Very starting companies, like as we talked about in the previous case also, like incubator or accelerator wale case mein, right? So if it is a very start stage, right? कुछ ही महीने हुए start हुए तो they invest in that, and they generally invest in mature businesses that promise growth, right? So they look for that, like angel investor, someone who has more trust. Okay, he or she invest in a company that has just starting में पैसा दे दिया, that is called a angel investor. और venture capitalist, they see कि ये business चल रहा है, थोड़ा समय हो चुका है, now they see that it promises growth. This is Shark Tank India where you must have seen, those are like sort of uh, I mean, although they are individual people, but that is sort of venture capital, right? They saw that, okay, so this is something that offers growth, right? So they invest in that case. And angel investor is not necessarily in a board member, but venture capitalists, they usually take the board of director members. I mean, they become uh, a board of directors. So investment इसमें high होता है. They are more interested in the business. They see the business potential more, right? They take board of directors so that they can control the company, right? So that means not necessarily, right? Not necessarily, but generally the case is they do not want, I mean, it is not necessary that angel investor will get the board of director. It can happen in either case, right? In angel investor there can be a member of board of directors. Same with venture capitalists, it is also possible that they might not get a seat in the board of directors. That depends on the negotiation between the investor and the entrepreneur, right? But mostly angel investor is just like financial assistance. वो finance दे देगा, they say कि मुझे return चाहिए, right? Return on my investment, right? So that is the case. Venture capitalists, since they offer financial as well as strategic help, so they generally take the seat in the board of directors. Okay, yes, share of the company both of them will get, right? Both of them will get equity, right? This is not necessary, but in this case usually they get a board seat, but again not necessary. There might be some venture capitalists which might not get board seat. Okay, that depends on uh, the negotiation, the deal that you have in the beginning, but these are the general characteristics. Okay, now we'll talk about the different stages of funding. How does a startup get funding? So initially, the very beginning fund that you get, that is called the seed funding. Okay, so very official uh, the funding that you get. So generally, it is like at some stage wherein your business has started running. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा business चलने लग गया, then you feel that okay, like so that the business does not end, right? You are making, let's say you are running a business, but you are making losses. Okay, so that is at that stage you get, see, that is a very basic first funding, that is called seed funding. Okay, then series A funding is basically when a business is running, it is doing some sort of like it has shown some trends कि revenue बन रहा है, ठीक है, you are launching products regularly, some things are happening, right? It says कि business is running on track, right? Things are happening in business, right? It is generating revenue, users are coming to the, let's say you have some app or something, users are present there, right? So if at that stage the the that is that, I mean, technically the second stage, that is called series A funding. Okay, so in this case, like it is used for growth, right? All basically all funding are used for growth only, but it is at the second stage when you want to increase your user base and you want to increase your products, right? If you want to offer more products, then you go for series A funding, right? Series B series B's funding is like already startup successful हो चुका है, right? ये क्या है, ये कि अभी तो कोई बिल्कुल ही स्टार्टिंग की स्टेज है, ज्यादा कुछ नहीं हुआ है, इसमें थोड़ा बहुत हो चुका है, एंड नाउ द इन्वेस्टर्स लुक दैट कि लाइक इट कैन ग्रो if it is given investment, so that is series A. Now series B is basically the startup is already successful, right? Now they want to expand, right? You want to grow the team. अभी आपके पास 50 लोग हैं, you want to make a team of 200 people. Okay, and you have to invest on advertising, technology, right? Sales, etc. Right now you are not doing all those things, right? You are relying on organic development. Now you want to invest heavily on marketing, right? You want to invest on people, you want to like hire people for growing your business, right? So for that you go for series B funding. Okay, then the next stage is Series C funding. So Series C funding is the ultimate stage, a very successful startup, right? If you want to develop new products, you want to venture into global markets, right? If you want to acquire generally new company acquisition, right? You are a very good company, you already have millions of valuation. Now you go for Series C funding so that you can acquire other companies in the competition, right? So that is where Series C funding comes into place. So basically these are different stages. So सबसे पहले seed funding आती है, then A, B and C. Okay. Now exit strategies. What are exit strategies? Now let us say I start a business, okay, and there are some investors who have put money into the business, right? Now after some time I want to what is the main purpose of doing a business? Why do we do business? And the business we do is I just want to earn money, right? That's the ultimate motive, isn't it? The ultimate motive of doing a business is to earn money. So as long as I'm into the business, right, I have that net worth, ठीक है, ये इतना हो रहा है, ठीक है, मेरे पास मतलब business grow कर रहा है, but I will take some amount of salary, that is fine. But you do not have that. That is your virtual income. I mean that what you could say that your net worth and all that is virtual, right? So exit means that you want to realize those profit, right? That early the profit that you have made in the business. So one is merger and acquisition. One strategy is go for merger and acquisition, right? So merger and acquisition is either you merge with a similar company, ठीक है, कोई competitor है, they are also uh, developing similar product, but you believe that उनके पास कुछ चीज है, तुम्हारे पास कुछ चीज है. If you become together, you will become a larger company. So one is that merger. Acquisition is you are bought up by a larger company. Okay, so let us say like you sell your company to a larger company, like Greater was acquired by BYJU'S, right? So that is like a smaller company acquired by a larger company in the same space. So that is acquisition. So you get your money, right? You get your stake, and you get the you get a like you exit from that company, or you continue to stay, but you will earn the profit, and the investors also get the profit in this. Okay, next is initial public offering, that is IPO. Okay, so what happens in IPO is, you must have heard of share market, right? When a company gets listed in the share market, that is called an IPO. Okay, so Idea and Vodafone, yeah, that is a merger. Right? So if you want to talk about merger, that is Idea plus Vodafone. Right? They become BI. Okay, so that is merger. Like acquisition is Great Up by BYJU'S or Akash by BYJU'S. Okay, so that is called acquisition. Now in IPO, what happens is like you go to the share market, and people or that is called people invest, then public invest money on your company, right? So that is called IPO. So in that case, the investors and the owner, they get money from it, right? So you raise money for your company using public investors. Or you can sell your company. One option is selling your company. Okay, let's say I started a company, I grew a business, now I sell to someone else. I say that okay, you take care of the company, I sell my shares to you, right? You pay me that much, right? So that is another thing, right? You can sell your shares or to give to someone else. ठीक है, you exit from the company. मैंने कहा कि ठीक है, आप आज से कंपनी मेरी नहीं तुम्हारी हो गई, मेरा जितना हिसाब बनता है, like I have this much stake, this is the worth of the company, I want this much money, now the business is your own, right? So generally they sell to more skillful people so that those people can grow. So you might have some stake in the company left, right? Or you want entire stake out, that's up to you. Okay, so it is uh, an individual choice how much share they want to keep, right? And then we have liquidation and close, right? So another option is you shut the company, right? You say that okay, your company is profitable, it is money, I just want to close the business. So business done, right? So whatever profit is realized, distributed to investors, right? And then company done. Okay, so that is called liquidation. Okay, Yeah, diluting is also sort of this thing, uh, you can sell, that is that selling the stakes only. Okay, diluting means you sell some part, like, or you can sell to completely to someone. Acquisition and selling different कैसे है? Acquisition is you are still in the part of the company, right? You are uh, still in the company. Selling is basically तुमने पूरी बेच दी, right? Let's say I have a company, someone else wants to buy my company, and I exit from the company. I'm no more associated with that business. I've taken all my profit share and then now start something new, right? Acquisition is someone has acquired my company. I still I mean, I'm a part of that company. I have certain share of the company, but I've realized profit from that acquisition. Okay. Okay, so let's see some business model types, right? So what are the different types of businesses that we have? D2C is direct to customer. अभी इन terms होते हैं कहीं कहीं, ये पता होना चाहिए क्या होना चाहिए, direct to customer. Direct to customer is basically if someone is selling something directly to customer. I mean word से ही समझ में आ रहा है, direct to customer. There is no middleman. Middleman in the sense कि your wholesaler, retailer ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं है. ये सब कुछ नहीं है, डायरेक्ट मेरा बिजनेस है, मैं सीधे लोगों को भेजता हूँ, राइट? सो टुडे देयर आर लॉट ऑफ ऑनलाइन फर्म्स दैट सेल डायरेक्टली, राइट, लाइक बोट एंड ऑल, राइट? सो like lens card it sells directly, it does not have like कि यहाँ से wholesaler आएगा lens card का ये सब ना, right? So they sell directly. Now Licious is a meat selling company, right? So that is also a D2C company. Then Country Delight, right? That's a dairy brand, so they directly sell, right? So there are no distributors and all those, if they do not exist, that is called D2C. There are some other companies also, there are a lot of cosmetic companies also, right, that sell directly to the customers. Generally these are online businesses because online में it is easy to have D2C, right? Offline में थोड़ा सा दिक्कत हो जाता है, right? So that is called uh, D2C. Then B2C is business to customer, right? So normally जो जितनी companies होती हैं, जो भी आप खरीद रहे हो retailer के through, right? Amazon, Tata Motors, Starbucks, कोई भी है, so these have franchisees, right? These have wholesalers and all those things. So these are all business to customer, right? So those who are not directly selling, उनका कहीं कहीं से सामान आ रहा है, then you buy some things, right? So that is called B2C. Then B2B companies are business to business. Now they do not sell to people, right? So some companies will not sell to people, they will work for businesses. Let us say like India Mart, right? India Mart provides assistance to different companies, right? So it sells raw materials and all those things to companies. TCS is what does it do? It's a consultancy firm, right? It does not work to TCS is थोड़ी कुछ computer बना के बेच रहा है कुछ कर रहा है. It provides IT services to businesses, right? So ये जो आपके online exams होते हैं, right? So those who conduct online examinations like IBPS and different these, they have TCS as a partner. So TCS is providing them their service. So all these consultancy firms usually are B2B firms, right? Or if a company provides raw materials, right? Let's say a company provides raw materials to companies, that is called B2B thing, right? Or let's say some sort of hardware, it provides only to like if we talk about, there are companies, generally these companies are mix of both things, right? Some part is B2B, some part is B2C. Now as an example, like Microsoft has B2B as well as B2C business, right? B2C कैसे होता है, people purchase their products, right? ठीक है, लोग विंडोज खरीद रहे हैं. B2B भी होता है, right? If you are in organizations, you buy their windows, right? So organization purchases the softwares as a whole, right? So that is called a B2B part. So when business sells to businesses, that is called B2B, and if they sell to customers, that is called B2C. Then consumer to consumer, what kind of business they are, right? Let's say in this case, uh, the business, like one consumer interacts with another consumer and does the thing, right? Like all these sites like eBay, Quicker, OLX, this is consumer to consumer, right? I have an old fridge, I want to sell to another consumer, right? So that is consumer to consumer. So that is another business model. Okay, then there is a new thing which has come up recently and it is growing also, that is called social commerce. Right? Social commerce is basically through online sites. Okay, they create a community and then they sell to people, right? So for example, Meesho, you must have heard of this Meesho. Have you heard of this Meesho? It's a very popular site. Okay, so there are several other companies like that which have this social commerce thing, right? So they have they develop a company, right? They do not target audience as such, right? Like based on people interest, people will go to this these sites, see, right? They have a community, people will interact with them, with the people, and I mean they do not force you to buy things, right? So they have a community wherein people, if they like something, they go and buy this. Okay, so that is, yeah, Instagram also you can say an example of social commerce, right? Through social commerce people sell. Okay. Right, so I hope you find these sessions be helpful and they will help you in knowing more about the businesses, right? So let us now talk about this. Yeah, so Alibaba and all, yes, they have Alibaba is a very diversified business model. Yes, it includes your B2C also, right? It has B2B portion also. Okay. I mean, generally these e-commerce large firms have certain portion for everything, right? So that they have a very diversified businesses, right? Okay, so let us have some short quiz on this, right? There's the first question. The practice of funding a company by raising money from a large number of people is called what? So in the examination, you will be asked questions like this, right? So they expect you to know these basic definitions related to businesses, entrepreneurship. Last time we did talked about innovation. This time we are talking about entrepreneurship. Okay, so you should know these terms related to startups, different things. So funding of a company through large number of people, that is called crowdfunding. Okay, crowdsourcing is somewhat different. Crowdsourcing is also a sort of terminologies used in startups. So that is basically when you collect opinions and all, and if you conduct some polls, if you want to know some ideas, right, that is called crowdsourcing. Okay, but if you take money from different people, multiple people, that is called crowdfunding. Which of the following is a startup accelerator scheme by Government of India? So this thing tells you that read about government schemes related to startups. So make sure you read about these, okay, about the government initiatives, how Indian government is promoting these. Right. So I did not teach you this, but like it's a sort of question that will tell you that what are the things that you must read. Okay, so have you heard of any of these schemes? Okay, some could be like own cooked up names also. It's a startup accelerator scheme by Government of India. Any idea which one? Okay, people saying Ujwal. Ujwal is not a scheme, right, for this. And the right answer is Samrit, right? So it has a full form also, startup accelerator for, so it is by Ministry of Electronics and IT. Okay, so this is Ministry of Electronics. IT and telecommunication, right? So that is MATE for, now this is product. So R is from product, innovation and growth. So they have taken innovation, अच्छा D से भी कुछ है, development and growth. तो लंबा सा नाम है इसका. So that is short form is Samrit. Okay, startup accelerator for MATE for product innovation development and growth. Right. So do read about government schemes. Okay. Read about Startup India, Stand Up India, right, and different things related. So that is a part of your syllabus, right? So you might get questions related to from those. कि Startup India कब start हुआ था and ये कब start हुआ था. Okay, what are the different provisions? What are the different amounts of loans that they will give in this, right? Okay. Which of the following is not true about a venture capitalist? Which of the following statements is not true? All the current affairs. See, you should not rely on only one source of preparation, right? You should, I mean, study on your own. Also, yes, we will provide you some assistance with it, right? But it will not be like spoon feeding everything. Yes, you do watch these sessions. Apart from that, study on your own as well. So I keep telling them what are the things that you should study. Like for example, I have not taken a session on government schemes. So read about different government schemes related to women. You will Google them and read about them. Okay. All right. So not true. It belongs to a company or firm, right? Generally, it gets a seat, right? So that is generally not true. Okay. The first official equity funding stage of a company is called what? Knowing these definitions, that's the reason why I took this session, is like knowing these terminologies will help you know about businesses, and you may be asked things related to that so that you can answer them, right? So the first official funding is called seed funding. Series A comes post that. Which online food delivery platform acquired Uber Eats in 2020 for about 350 million? Now, from this, you should also read the news. Okay? News about mergers and acquisitions. Okay, so business news. Okay, so the purpose of this is टर्म्स तो पता होने चाहिए, उसके साथ साथ बिजनेस न्यूज भी पता होनी चाहिए, किसने किसको एक्वायर किया. Okay, recent acquisitions, recent mergers, right? Acquisitions या फिर कुछ और important happenings if they happen somewhere, right? So who acquired this Uber Eats? And Uber Eats पहले होता था, अब नहीं है. So that was acquired by Zomato. That is acquired by Zomato. Okay, so know about these mergers and acquisitions also. Okay, again a part of business news. Which of these firms has not yet gone for an IPO? Nykaa, 197 Communication, BYJU'S, Kalyan Jewelers. Okay, so as I said that read about this, read about IPOs of 2021, 2021 and 2022. Because 2021 was a historic year in Indian businesses, right? A lot of companies went to IPOs, right? So read about these IPOs, read about the unicorns of India. Okay, अब India में there are 54 unicorns. I was reading, maybe that might be updated now, might have increased high. So read about the recent unicorns, right? So all these things you should know because these are the sort of current affairs that they will ask from this section, right? They will not only ask the theoretical part, they also want you to test your general awareness related to this section, right? So BYJU'S has not gone for an IPO yet. Okay, this year it is expected to go for an IPO, right? Kalyan Jewellers went for an IPO last year. Okay, तो मतलब BYJU'S लोगों को पता होगा, so I thought 197 is your Paytm. That's the official name of the company, 197 Communication. Nykaa IPO was famous, right? 197. So know about these. I mean, the as a part of these, you should know their founders. You must know. Okay, your famous companies, and you should know their founders also. Now that is basically of current affairs related to I&D, right? जरूरी नहीं है उसमें theoretically चीजें पूछेंगे. They might ask you things related to businesses that is happening in I mean in India and at a global level. Okay, mergers and acquisitions major कौन से हुए, IPOs में कौन सी company गई, which became uniform, right? So at this right, so that is this. Okay, so another question of business is an industrial goods and services procurement firm. It provides raw materials to MSMEs. What kind of business model does it have? So I've described that of business is a company, right? So if you have not heard of it, right? So they have explained what does it does. And so have you heard of off business? If not, you know what it does now. Okay, they might give you a company name and ask that what kind of company does it? What is it? There are 88. हो सकता है बहुत बढ़ गए होंगे. So if it is providing raw materials to MSMEs, MSMEs are mini, small, and medium enterprises, right? So these are like it is not dealing with customers, right? It is dealing with companies. So it is a B2B company. Low, it's not interacting with people; it is interacting with businesses. Which of these is a D2C company? Okay, OLX, Ola Electric, Accenture, Licious. So unless see, now this is a kind of general awareness question, but you should know what does D2C mean. Yes, Darwin Box is also a unicorn. That is a B2B company, right? So we have our attendance in Darwin Box. Yeah. So how do you know it is used by BYJU'S? So you work at BYJU'S, right? I mean, we use Darwin Box. If you work, you must be knowing that, right? Yeah. So it became the first HR company to become a unicorn. Okay, so which of these is a D2C company? So OLX is a C2C, right? So it is C2C, right? So Licious is something that is uh, D2C. Okay, so Ola Electric is basically like it has vendors and all, right? It does it sell directly. It will have those dealers and retailers, right? I'm not sure that it is directly selling to people, but I think it will have the supply chain, right? It will sell to those dealers and those uh, like retailers and all. To those will be selling, right? If there is no dealer, so maybe Ola Electric might also be a D2C company. Licious is it sells meat, right? Fresh meat and all those things. Okay, so if there is no dealer in Ola Electric, then that also is a D2C company. Okay, so Licious is a online platform that sells meat and all, right? So you can buy fresh meat from that. Okay, I'm not aware that Ola Electric does not have sellers or what. I thought that it might be having this. Okay, so that must be. Then Licious is definitely, I'm sure that is because it sells. I'll have to check for Ola Electric. I'm not sure, right? So that's how Accenture is your B2B, right? It offers services to businesses, consultancy services. OLX is C2C. Okay. All right. So that was today's session, right? So I hope you found this session useful and good for your preparation, right? So you got some insight about businesses, different terminologies related to businesses. Please do like the session. And we have this series running till the first week of April, right? So you can watch the remaining sessions also every day at 7 p.m. So every day we'll come up with different sessions, targeting different sections for the examination so that you are fully prepared. And this gives you as a last minute preparation help. Okay, sort of like last leg of your preparation to boost your preparation so that you understand where do you stand, what are the things that you need to cover up on your own as well. That will also give you this thing, right? See, we cannot spoon feed you everything. You have to study on your own, especially these theory based subjects, right? That will just give you an assistant. Okay, that will let you know, okay, these are the things that you need to, like, for example, I told you about read about different businesses, right? What companies have different business models. Read about business news, which companies went through IPO, which companies became unicorn, right? So etc. Okay, so that's it for today's class. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.